Today we're going to talk about Starfighter, which is a two-player hand management game that's card-driven strategy, where each player is going to take control of a cruiser on one of these player boards, and throughout the course of the game we'll be playing cards that give us different abilities onto our ship boards, filling up these spaces and trying to get damage into play so that when we then resolve each round, we'll be able to overcome our opponent's defenses and destroy their ship. It plays in about 30 minutes, so it's pretty fast, and we'll talk about how the rules work real quick. Okay, so the main thing in this game is card play. So we have a whole bunch of different types of cards and a bunch of symbols that you need to understand, and they're all pretty straightforward. The first thing is that every card is two-sided. They all have this on the back. A level 0 card with 2 Starfighters on one side. You can tell it's level 0 because there isn't a symbol like this one has in the top corner. This is a level 1 card. As the cards become more complicated with this symbol, that's a really easy indicator of what level they are. So I'll show you a level 2 and a level 3 in a minute. You just count the number of rings that are there. So there's like 1 partial ring, and then there'll be 2 partial rings, and then 3. Or 0 if it's a level 0 card. The cards also have this delineating line that marks the middle of the card for when these get rotated and moved around, because that's going to happen a lot in the game. And they show you on either side of the card what symbols are on the other side in case this ends up being hidden by another card like this. So you can look and you can see these 2 little chevrons are telling you there are 2 Starfighters hidden under this card, so that you can tell at a glance without having to rotate it out to see what is on the other side of that card. So the most common symbol that you're going to see on cards is this Starfighter symbol, which denotes damage in each round. So we have 2 Starfighters and 3 Starfighters, 2 damage and 3 damage. Here's a level 2 card. See, this symbol becomes more complicated and now has 2 partial circles in it. This symbol is the draw card symbol. As soon as this gets revealed, you're going to draw a card off the top of the deck and pull it over to put in front of you without taking a look at it, so that the next round you'll have this extra card for your hand of however many cards you get to draw at the start of the game.
Say that one again.
Yeah. So that at the beginning of the next round, you'll have 1 extra card on top of whatever you get to draw at the beginning of the round. So this is the draw card symbol. We also have this level 3 card. See, it's even more complicated. So it's pretty easy to tell which level cards are at a glance. It has the draw card symbol and also has horizontal movement on it. This means that you'll take any card that's in your play area and you can move it horizontally from one column to another. And this would reveal symbols and cause those symbols to be activated again. This is a big part of the way this game is meant to function. Here we have vertical movement, which allows you to move a card within its column. So you can move it to the top, and you'll reveal symbols in doing so. Here we've got 2 symbols that we haven't seen yet. This one is move a card anywhere. So you don't have to be restricted to just horizontal or just vertical. You can move it vertically and horizontally anywhere into your tableau that you want. And we also have the rotate icon. This lets you take a card and turn it around. So you're constantly shifting cards around and rotating them so that you can pull out symbols. And because they activate every time they're revealed, you're going to chain these symbols to do some pretty cool things. This card has 3 fighters, and it has the destruction icon on it, which means that you destroy any card that's in the game that's out on a table. So this is probably going to be one of your opponent's cards. So like, you might want to destroy a card that has 3 fighters on it because that's a lot of damage. But you could also destroy one of your own cards if it's a weak card and you want to reveal what's ever hidden underneath it. This is the last of the symbols that's in the basic game. These are the 2 damage symbols. The golden one is damage that you deal to your enemy's ship. So you do 1 damage when this icon is revealed, directly to their cruiser. And the red one is 1 damage directly to your cruiser. So you put this card into play, and both of you take 1 damage immediately. The game also comes with another set of more advanced cards. You'll notice on the bottom of all of these basic ones, they have this green rectangle here at the bottom, as opposed to this blue rectangle that's on the bottom of the more advanced cards, so that you can quickly sort these. And the more advanced cards have some more advanced effects. This one is Force Field. Whenever this card takes damage, you reduce that damage to 1 damage. So if you had this in your column, it doesn't matter if your opponent does 11 points of damage to this card. You only take 1 damage disc and block out 1 of these fighters. And then the next time it takes damage, you block out another fighter. And then another one. And then the card would be destroyed and you'd remove it. But that gives you a lot of chance to soak damage. So the Force Field is a really powerful card for you to get out into your tableau. There are also shield cards, which take a number of points of damage. So for this one, we'd have the shields take 1, 2, because it has 2 lines before the fighter took damage. Shields can also have 3 rings or 4 rings. So this is another technique for soaking damage in a column and allowing you to protect weaker parts of your ship. So this is the barrel roll icon, which allows you to flip a card. So before we saw the ability to rotate a card, what this one does is you can take one of your opponent's cards, maintain its orientation and its place where it is, but you'll flip it over, so you can all of a sudden reveal this really weak 2-fighter level 0 card instead of, this force field or shield or whatever it is that is giving you a lot of problems that you need to deal with. Or you might flip over a card they chose to play face down, hoping that it's something really weak. Or play something into your own tableau that's a level 3 card that you want to put in a 0 slot because you don't have the ability to place it into one of your level 3s, and then use this to flip it over and, it's a whole bunch of shields. So that's another interesting way of manipulating what's on the playfield. The last of the symbols that you'll find in the advanced cards is this orange-bronze variation of the damage symbol, which is damage done directly to a starfighter. So, in the same way that we saw damage from the earlier damage cards in red and gold going directly to the enemy's cruiser or your cruiser, this allows you to place 1 damage token directly onto an enemy's fighter. So when you get to the start of the next round and you would calculate damage, they've already lost one of their fighters, and you've prevented 1 point of damage in that way, and made them 1 point weaker in their defense. That's all of the basic symbology for the cards in the game. So you can play the game with just the cards that have green symbols at the bottom, not using these blue ones. And this is the basic tutorial game, which is good for introduction. Once you have a good grasp of the basic mechanics, you'll probably want to add these blue cards so that you can get the more advanced game, because it gives you a lot more options, especially in defense. The last variation on the basic way to play this game is with deck building. So you could construct your own grouping of these cards, and rather than each player drawing from one communal deck, each player having their own deck of cards. And that just gives you a lot more flexibility in the way you want to build your strategy, and allows you to play the game the way you want to play it instead of just dealing with whichever random cards you get. So, at the start of the game, you're each going to have a cruiser board like this. There are a few different versions of the ships with different layouts. So, if you are playing a more advanced game, you can choose a different type of ship that has, a different layout and gives you some slightly different options. Here's another one. So just slight variations to give it a little bit of flexibility and difference of play. Each player is going to start their health token at their maximum value. Down here at the bottom of your cruiser, you'll have a number of these draw symbols that tell you how many cards you're going to get at the beginning of each round. So in this game, each player is going to get a hand of 5 of these squadron cards as their starting hand. And this is the main mechanic of each round, that you'll start by drawing your cards, and then you'll look to see what you've got, and you're going to play them into these columns to get different effects. The first thing is that you'll see these columns, just like when we talked about the cards, there are these symbols on them. So this is a level 0 row, and then a level 1, level 2, and level 3. And you can only play a card that matches this symbol into this row, or a 0. And all of the cards that you're going to have are two-sided. So the backs of the cards are always this level 0 card with 2 fighters and nothing in it. So no matter what you've got, you can play this into your bottom slots. Hopefully, though, you draw at least 1 or 2 cards that have some special abilities and are level 0. So, for example, you might start by playing this card. This has a variety of symbols on it. And the thing with the symbols on these cards throughout the game is that you're going to activate every symbol on this card whenever it's revealed. So we've played the cards, we've revealed all the symbols. The most common symbol on cards are these Starfighter symbols, which are just damage that's being added together so that at the end of the round, this column is going to do an amount of damage equal to the number of Starfighters that are visible to the opposing column on the other player's ship. So we have 2 Starfighters for 2 damage. We are dealing 1 damage to our own ship and 1 damage to the enemy's ship. So both players are going to lose 1 hull and come down to 19 when this card comes out. Your opponent's going to play some card on theirs. So let's say they just play a card face down because they didn't have any level 0s they want to use. So right now, if the round ended, we're both doing 2 damage to each other. On your next turn, let's say you decide to play this level 0 card, which gives you 2 fighters in this column, and allows you to move one card vertically within its column so that it comes to the top of its pile. That's not something that's useful to you right now because everybody only has 1 card in every column. So it just happens and you move one of these cards up. Your opponent just doesn't have anything, so he's playing another one face down this way. So now you play this level 1 card, and you have 1 Starfighter. But the more interesting thing is that you have this rotation icon. So you need to decide how are you going to rotate cards to your best advantage. You might rotate this card to reveal these 2 Starfighters, and now you're dealing 3 damage in this column. But let's say you rotate this card, which doesn't seem advantageous to you right now, but you've got a plan. Your opponent plays yet another card face down. You play this level 1 card. So you're dealing 1 damage to your enemy and add another fighter. We'll do another card over here face down. And now you play this level 2 card, which adds 1 Starfighter and allows you to move any card anywhere into any of these columns. So you do this. You've just revealed this symbol, so this symbol gets activated again, so your opponent takes another point of damage. So let's say your opponent passes at that point. So they take this start player pawn, and you can play any number of cards that you have left into your tableau, but you don't have anything left that you want to play. So we move on, and we come into the next phase, where we resolve the combat that's happening on the board. The first thing is that the player who passed first, who has this start player token, gets to decide if they want to move their cruiser one way, 1 step, or the other way 1 step. You'll want to do this during the game so that you can try to get your weak points out of your opponent's line of fire and position your fighters into better positions so that you'll do more damage to your opponent's cruiser. So let's say your opponent sidesteps this way 1 space, because they don't have anything in this row, and you have nothing in this row. So they want to get some damage in on you. They then get to choose if they're resolving these cards from left to right or from right to left. And this is going to be important because when cards get damaged and destroyed, you're going to reveal the icons that are underneath them, and those are going to allow you to use those effects in the middle of battle. So if you revealed this card, for example, all of a sudden you might be able to move 1 card anywhere into a tableau. And it could be one of your opponent's cards too. So you could move a card that's about to do damage to you off to one side. So your opponent looks at this and says, okay, I'm going to do damage in this direction from right to left. So the first thing is 2 damage in this column for your opponent, and you have no defenses. So you get 2 of these damage tokens, and you go 1, 2 down your little health tracker to resolve these tokens. The next column, he's doing 2 again, and you have 2. So He's got 2 damage tokens, and you have 2 damage tokens. He covers up both of his fighters, and that means that this card is destroyed. So it gets removed from his cruiser and goes into the discard pile. The same thing is going to happen over here, but you damage this fighter, and then this card gets removed. You've revealed this rotation icon, so you could rotate any of these cards in your tableau. So let's say you rotate this one. Now, you won't get to take advantage of this extra damage this round because you've already allocated the damage tokens for the turn. But if you'd revealed some other effect, you'd be using that now, the same way that you just got to use this rotation icon. The basic rule of this game is that anytime you reveal a symbol, you perform that action, and you follow that chain of actions to its conclusion before you move on to the next step. So here we revealed a symbol. We took that action. If this had revealed another symbol, we'd take that action, and we'd keep going until all of the actions were resolved. And then we come back to placing our damage token, which goes on this fighter and destroys this card. Now we've revealed this action, which is move a card vertically within its tableau. But there are no cards that are stacked anymore, so we can't really use that to any effect. Here you do 2 damage, your opponent does 2 damage, so the same thing. You're going to cover up these 2, and he covers up these 2, and you lose these cards. And then he has 2, and you have 1, so he's going to have 1 Starfighter that's damaged, and your fighter gets destroyed, but you also take 1 damage. Combat's over, because we've gone through all of the columns. If you'd had something in this column, or if he'd had something in this column, that misses, because they don't have a column to shoot into. The player who passed second gets the initiative token, so it comes back to you, and then you go back to the start of the round. So you're going to count up how many cards you get to draw. 1, 2, 3, 4 for your side, and your opponent gets to draw 1, 2, 3. This token's going to stay on your opponent's Starfighter until that card gets covered up. Let's say you play this card, which gives you 1 fighter and allows you to move 1 card anywhere on the board. And you do that for your own purposes. Your opponent wants to get rid of this damage that he has here, so he plays this card here. So he has the ability to rotate a card and move a card vertically within its stack. So your opponent's trying to decide, does he want to use this to rotate? And he can resolve these in any sequence. So he can do the rotate and then do vertical movement, or vice versa. So he could rotate here and bring out 2 more Starfighters. He could rotate this one and bring this one to the top for the same effect. He could rotate your card and bring this one to the top. So there's this whole chain of events that happens in any of these circumstances that you have to be aware of and consider what's going to be the best thing for you to do each time you play a card. The game continues until you get to a round where one of you is reduced to this red section when you get to 0. You'll finish playing through that round in case one of you is more negative than the other, and then that tells you which player has won the game or which player has lost the game. If there's a tie, then whichever player has the most cards left in their hand, plus any cards that they've set aside through draw effects that they got on their turn, is the winner. So there's a start player marker here, and neither of us currently have it, so whichever of us can go first. Whoever was last in a Starfighter.
Whoever recently saw the last Starfighter.
Oh, man.
I don't know. You own it, don't you?
Yeah. It's probably been me.
Probably been you.
Yes. Good job, Last Starfighter. It's a quality flick. You should check it out. Okay, let's do this thing. So, this is the deck of cards that we're drawing from. I'm going to play a card, I guess. This column is as good as any for me. So, I'm going to draw a card for next turn, and I take a point of damage. And you can pass at any time, so you can choose to just hang on to a whole ton of cards and do whatever. Okay. I'm going to...
Is there a hand limit in this?
No.
Okay.
I'll play this card here, which means I'm going to rotate this card. It's you. Oh no. You're just going down with all your face down cards, huh?
I didn't feel like I'd ever play those cards, so...
I'm going to play that there, and then I'm going to use the movement thing to move this card to here.
Does that activate that again?
Yes, which means I get to draw a card again.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Pass.
Okay. I will also pass this here. Okay, so do you want to shift left or right?
No.
Okay. Then which direction would you like to resolve?
I don't think it matters.
It doesn't really.
Yeah, so either one.
Okay. So we each deal 2 to each other, which destroys both of these cards.
Discard.
Yeah. Yep. You do 2 and I do 1, so that ship gets destroyed, and then I have 1 left over, which goes into my hull.
2 and 2.
Yep. But that happens, and then that happens, which is meaningless.
That makes that card rotate.
I'll make that card rotate.
Okay. Does that do anything?
It means that you can't cut. It'll be more difficult for you to cover that up to erase the damage.
Okay.
Okay. So you're drawing 4 cards, and I'm drawing 5 cards.
Okay. Am I going first now?
I passed second, so I'm going first again.
Okay.
Oh, what did I get? Anything good? Well, okay. Let's see. What can I do with this? Okay, so I'm gonna do... Right. Yeah, I'm gonna go and do this. Go ahead and do this to just do 1 point of damage to your cruiser. Oh, that was stupid of me. Well.
Should I know why that was stupid of you, or is it like something in your hand you're talking about?
I just should have been in like this column or this column so that I had more room.
Mm-hmm.
Because actually I have a 3 this time, so I should have...
So you covered up your 2 ships, now you only have 1 when we resolve that?
That's correct.
When we resolve, you're going to remove that card, and then you have 2 more.
And then I'll have 2, but it won't do 2 damage to you, because we count the damage, and then we deal damage. So what'll happen is, like, we'll each do 1, so this will get destroyed. But if you played another card there that put ships out, and you had, say, 3 total, then it'd be 1, 2, 3. Stupid. Okay, so I'm going to do that, I guess, instead. Yeah, okay. I can still do something with this.
Alright, what I'm doing.
Okay. So you get to rotate a card and move a card vertically. Okay.
Can I do that?
Yep. That's exactly the kind of thing you could do. I will... What did I just decide I was doing? I was doing this. Okay, yeah, that's right. So I'm playing this here.
I generally don't know how to make these cards combo in any successful way.
It seems to me like it's mostly about like rotating and moving cards to chain things. That the more of that you can do, the crazier your stuff becomes.
Like... I want to play this here.
Okay.
Which lets me rotate a card.
Yep, so you can rotate a card.
So I rotate this card.
Yep, and now you have 4 fighters there.
Okay.
Which is pretty good. Oh no. Man, my hand is just garbage. Okay. Yeah, okay. go ahead and destroy this card. Bumped your health cube. And that's that for that. Okay, so you can rotate. Yeah. Now, so now you have 2 move vertically because you just revealed that one and you revealed this one.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to figure out how you want to resolve that.
Well, I mean, like, can I say this one moves vertically in its own column? Like,
yeah, I think so.
I can't really see what I'm really going to do with that in this situation. Like, I can move this one vertically and make something flip again, but I don't know what.
Well, the question is, like, what's on the other side of that card?
This one?
Yeah.
Is a rotate.
So you could make something rotate by moving it to, like, the top of the stack.
Oh, I guess I can use it on your stacks, too.
That's true.
But I don't know that I want to.
Yeah, I think you would just reveal fighters if you did.
So, if I vertically move this,
okay,
so that it's up at the top of the pile.
Yep.
Like that.
Yep. Now you can rotate a card.
Reveals rotate, which like if I rotate that card, I don't know that does anything.
I would probably rotate the card that you have underneath it. So that you have your fighters out again.
Well, but see, that's the thing is, like, I still have one more vertical move, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I could just vertically move those back up to the top.
And you just gained another rotate.
Yeah. So I guess I vertically move these to the top of this pile again, which gives me another vertical move.
Yeah, so now you have a vertical move and a rotate still.
Like, it seems like that's just going to keep happening perpetually.
Probably so.
So, at some point, should I just say no?
Well, I mean, like, what you could do is you could rotate one of my, like, this card, or rotate this card, and then vertically move this to the top so that I'm covering up one of my fighters. I don't know. I don't claim to be good at this game. I just told you that I know the rules for it.
So
see, yeah, so you could, like, change that order, and then you could say, you know, I'm going to rotate,
and
then I have one less fighter.
Right.
But it does mean that now I could potentially reveal destruction.
Whatever.
Okay.
Like, whatever.
I don't know, man.
I had to end that chain, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. So there you go. Now it's your turn again.
I'm pretty sure I can't play any of these cards. Unless I want to play them face down. Which I guess is what I need to do at this stage, because I need to be able to do something. That one is the smallest deal.
Can you play it there, though?
Yeah, I can play. You can play a lower tier card.
Okay. I guess I put this here and discard that.
Okay. Wow, I'm just really screwed. Okay, I guess I pass.
Okay. I also pass.
Yeah, I guess I just...
Are you going to shift it up?
Guess I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
So I take 1 from this column.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm dealing 1 to you.
Do I choose?
You're taking it at the top. Yeah.
Okay.
And you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to me. 8. Yeah.
What, does this one count?
Yeah. Because you count before any of it happens.
Yeah,
so
8.
So 8. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1 destroys this card. Destruction.
Yeah.
So I guess I destroy that card with 3 on it.
Mm-hmm.
1, and that happens. And
Do I resolve this now?
Oh yeah, you can move a card vertically because that got revealed.
Do I have any reason to do that? I don't think so. I just would. I don't see why I would.
So I take 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I take 2.
Yeah. So I'm drawing 4 cards, and you're drawing 3. And you passed second, so you get to go first this time. Oh, that's cards that I can actually play for a change. Oh, that's way better. I was kind of stoked at first when I had like a bunch of 3s, and then I was like, wait, I can't play any of these. It's actually a disaster. Okay. But I still don't have what I want. Well, okay, so I gotta do that, and then I gotta do that, and then I gotta do that. Okay, that all makes sense. That's straightforward. It's only a question of order. Red is mine.
Oh, yeah.
I was just making sure the red was the symbol where I take damage.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you revealed, when you did that, you revealed vertical movement, if you wanted vertical move. So you can rotate. Oh man, I'm just going to get monstrously worked because I'm not drawing any of the rotate cards, and that's such an important part of this game. Like, I think I had 1 in, like, the first round, and that was the only one I've seen.
Like, all of mine have had that symbol.
Yeah, like, I just don't have anything to rotate, so, like, all I can do is put down cards, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll move that over and draw a card.
Draw a card.
I obviously pass. Because I have no cards in hand.
Okay. Do that. And draw a card. And vertically shift. Or horizontally shift. And draw a card. And card and do that and draw a card.
2 cards.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so you passed first. Did you want to? Yeah, you shifted.
And does it matter again? I don't really understand why.
Well, the reason you would want to do it maybe in a different way would be the cards that will be revealed when you destroy things, because you could end up shifting cards around on the table, and that might be a big deal to you.
Alright, well, I don't think it's a big deal to me, so...
It probably isn't.
Result from left to right.
Okay, so I take 2.
2.
I mean, it doesn't matter, because I'm going to get blown up anyway. And then I'm dealing 3 to you, and you're dealing 7 to me.
1, 2, that's discarded. I
6,
rotate.
7. Okay, so I take 1, and this card gets destroyed, and that means I draw a card. 2. Oh, are you finished with what you're doing?
Like, I unveiled a rotate, but I don't think the rotate means anything to me.
Well, you could rotate one of my cards, which could potentially help you. I don't know.
I guess let's rotate that.
Okay, yeah. So you could do something like that.
Okay, and then that's destroyed.
Which definitely hurts me.
I have opened up a vertical shift, which doesn't do anything for me. I'll vertically shift here.
Okay. I take 2 and lose that one, which reveals 3 fighters, which don't get added, but I cover them up with damage. Okay, so here I have 2 and you have 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I take 1, and then that reveals horizontal movements. So I guess I'll move this card over.
And then is that immediately taking the damage that you still have to allocate?
Yeah, and then that takes the one that I still have to allocate, right? Because I
didn't pay attention to what you had.
I took 1 and you did 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So...
You should have taken 3.
Just now?
Yeah, I had 3 on my side.
Okay.
Because I had this here.
Then this gets destroyed.
Okay.
And then I reveal horizontal movement.
Again.
And I'll move this one over into that column. And then you take 3.
Okay.
See, that's where the game gets really complex, in that, like, interchange of moving cards around.
Okay, well. You probably should shuffle the deck. I don't know what just happened here, but that's not right, so.
Yeah, because I think that's the only card that was left. Because discarding cards, we just, like, dropped them in the wrong place in a couple of spots. And I'm drawing 2 cards. so are you.
Because you moved my fighter over.
Yeah. But that seemed better than mutual assured destruction to me at the time.
We'll see if I have... I mean, I'm going to have cards to play now, as opposed to I wouldn't have if you hadn't done that, because you're drawing more cards than I will.
Well, since that was all I managed to do on my turn, really. So if I can come up with a way to not die in playing these ridiculous numbers of cards that I got that turn, I might do okay. Okay, we each got 2 cards. Yep. Okay, let's see. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, well, I still don't have any of those. Okay. What? Okay. Okay, what am I gonna do? That seems likely to happen. Okay.
You're first. Because I passed first.
That's true. Sorry, I forgot that. Okay, I'm going to... Yeah, okay, so that's all I can do there. So I could do this, which is pretty good. Okay. Oh, man. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to play this here, then horizontally shift it to here, which covers that up, and then I'll horizontally shift this to here. Okay. So then I get to horizontally move a card. Which I guess will be horizontally moving this. To here. managed to play that. And I get to vertically move. I'll vertically move this to the top of this stack. Play this here, and I'll rotate this card. Okay. And so I'll destroy your 3.
I have vertical movement, but I don't know that I can use it in any sensical fashion.
I don't see how using it on me helps you. Yeah, I don't see anything that helps you on my side.
I don't see anything that helps me on either side. So, I mean, like... Pass!
That's it. Okay.
Resolve from this direction.
Okay, go ahead.
You take 1.
That misses my ship.
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
What?
You're off the edge of the map, so...
Like, what is the point of playing things over there then? Okay. I guess. I don't know. I don't care.
Okay. So...
You take...
1 is off.
6.
And you take 2. So, I take 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Why did that happen? Oh, because of that. Okay, I see. So you take 4.
You take 1.
3, 2,
8.
a lot. So yeah, I just die at that point.
No, I don't think that's...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3. 2.
9. That's it.
Okay.
You win.
I guess.
Yep.
Okay.
Starfighter!
Meow. Sorry.
There weren't nearly as many like Starfighter things in this as I expected.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the Starfighters were your damage things, but you know, I kind of felt like a game called Starfighter was going to have more to do with like
Pew, pew, pew.
moving around and shooting, like movement mechanics and things, you know, and that's not a thing at all in this.
Well, you move.
You move laterally left or right one column.
Yeah.
You know, I would have expected a game that was called Starfighter to be more of like a tactical movement kind of game. I don't know. What are your first impressions? What did you think?
Well, sitting here talking about how the theme is in 2115, war is a show, and fighters are media superstars. These are the Starfighters, and I can't tell if it's like a pun.
I don't know.
Like they're stars fighters
that are fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like it doesn't really feel like a space fighting anything.
I think for exactly that reason. I mean, it's like Space Invaders, almost, right?
I guess.
You know, that you just have like these waves of little things that are moving back and forth toward each other almost, and slowly being annihilated.
I guess if you played it like in real time a bit, it would be more or less Space Invaders. Yeah. You know, like my feeling is if you wanted that sort of like fast space fighting card game, that already exists. That's probably Star Realms. And I'm sure there are other...
Yeah. There are lots of games that have this kind of a theme.
So, I don't know what this brings to the table that makes me want to be like, yeah, Starfighter. Maybe the kind of people who liked, like, Scarab Lords. I guess it has that sort of feel to it, where there are extra cards in the deck, and you could build a deck and...
I mean, that's one of the things that I think is really cool about this, that there's a lot of depth in this game in the variability of cards and being able to do the deck building side of it, where you each make your own decks of cards to play against each other for your own Starfighter fleets. There's a lot of complexity in knowing how best to use those times when you can rotate cards and then vertically move and, you know, chain a whole sequence of things so that you're doing ridiculous stuff to your opponent. There's a lot that you can do with that. And I think that part of this game is what makes it interesting and exciting for a lot of people. And if you spend the time to get good at it, I could see this game being a lot of fun for people like that. I don't think I'm a person like that. So I don't think I would ever want to spend enough time to be good enough at this game to like it.
I don't even know. My impression of it is that you might not even... If you're playing with just the base game's cards, you might not even need to like get good at it. It could just be arbitrary luck that wins you the game.
Oh, yeah. I'm not talking about winning the game. I'm saying, you know, to get to a point where you could see those moves so that it wasn't pure luck, you know, because there is a lot of luck in the... just what did you happen to draw? Like in the game we just shot, you were talking about how you never drew any horizontal movement cards. And I was talking about how I basically never drew any rotation cards. And almost every card I drew was like level 3. So it was kind of like, okay, well I can play a whole bunch of these cards as level 0s that are stacking on top of each other so that I can play this one level 3. Or I can, hold off and maybe I'll have cards next turn. And then, next turn comes around and, oh, well, I drew a bunch of level 3s again, so I can't play any of these. And I still don't have any rotation cards, even at the level 3s. So that luck aspect makes it really tough for me. But, if you got to a point where you're really good at this and you were building your own decks for it, you'd have a lot less of that because, you draw your cards and you say, okay, this is the set of cards that I want to use in these ways. And you'd have a good idea of how to chain those things and play them in the best way possible, where you and I were kind of looking at our cards and trying to figure out, oh, well, why would I want to do that? Why in this situation would I ever want vertical movement for my cards? And we talked about that a little bit while we were shooting the video.
Production-wise, I think it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's unattractive in any way.
What do you think about, the art?
I think it's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it detracts from the game at all.
Mm-hmm. The iconography wasn't terrible.
As soon as I saw a card once, I knew what it did.
Yeah.
And that was no problem.
The only card that I kept having to kind of glance at was which color of the damage symbol was damaging your ship and which was damaging my ship.
That's just two different symbols. I mean, whatever.
Just, that was the only thing that kind of threw me. I wish those symbols had been more obvious to me in some way, and I don't know how they would have been.
A big finger pointing at you.
But then you'd rotate the card and it would be pointing at them. But maybe that would be the thing, that, whoever the finger was pointing at, that's who takes the damage.
Why didn't you design Starfighter?
I should have. Why didn't I design it?
Okay. I don't think this is a bad game, and I don't really have any problem with it, honestly. I think that it's accessible, but my concern is that idea of it being hampered by just random luck, that you are going to be basing your strategy based off of whatever you happen to draw, and you might just happen to draw nothing remotely useful to you in the scenario that you're trying to work with, and then you just go, okay, well, I lose, I guess. And I guess because it's a fast game that's not 2 bags, then you could either just play again or not.
Yeah.
I come away with this kind of feeling like it's just really average, and I don't have any interest in investing myself further into it. But
that's how I feel too.
I could understand why, I guess, other people would like it, especially if they had, fewer games in their collection, and they wanted a space game that played specifically. The other thing is they only plays for 2 people.
Yeah.
And that seems kind of strange to me. I feel like mechanically there should be a way to fix it so that it can play with more people, but obviously if you're doing head-to-head, that isn't a thing. So, I mean, I feel like it's limited to. I can see couples who really like space-themed card games. This would be in their wheelhouse, and that'd be it. So, I mean, I want to give it a 5.
Sure, that's about what I was going to give it.
But I really do believe that this game probably is higher for someone else, and I wouldn't get upset at someone if I were I give this a 7 out of 10. I'm okay, I can see if you really love this game, fine. Usually when I say this game is a 4 or 5 out of 10, it's because I
don't think that anyone should be playing it.
Right, and I don't think that's the case with this. I think this is actually probably a good game for somebody, and it's not me.
Yeah, and not me either. So...
And the other thing we didn't talk about was the rulebook being kind of obtuse.
It's not really good. It's not the worst Yastari rulebook that I've looked at, but it's not really great.
Yeah. But it seems to be a regular theme with them. As I'm sitting here trying to think of other games by them, and I'm going, this is a thing that's come up before in other things we played. So, Just to throw that out there, that I think they should do a better job of making rulebooks that are easy to pick up and get into. For a game that should be this accessible, the rulebook seems to be a bit less.
I think it's just like layout-wise that it's not really clear. But hey, that's why we're making videos, right?
Yeah.
So that
we should just focus on making your story videos.
Maybe so.
So yeah.
Final thoughts? Anything?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, that's Starfighter. It's maybe worth checking out if it looked fun to you. It just wasn't fun to us. You have been selected by... I don't remember that quote from Last Starfighter.
Well, I don't think I've seen Last Starfighter in like a decade or more, so I don't...
Defend against the something armada!
Do you want me to pause the video so you can go look up a quote from Last Starfighter, come back and say something, and we'll just cut to it?
Oh, you've been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada. That's right.
Is that the best quote from that movie?
Well, I think it's the most recognizable.
Now you know why nobody likes The Last Starfighter.
I like The Last Starfighter. I had no idea that the theme of this game was that we were like...
I didn't either. I saw it on the box when I sat down and went, huh? Like, it doesn't even, like, remotely come off as a thing that should have been happening in the game.
Just completely ridiculous.
In the year 2115, starfighters are actors and entertainment for the masses and space opera.
This symbol is the barrel roll symbol. And what this means is that you can flip a card. So not just
Do a barrel roll.
rotating the way we saw before.
Do that one again because you kind of like...
It's possible to use 2 sets of the game so that the player has equal access to all cards.
Go buy another copy of our game.